from Newsweek. Gen Z backs Donald Trump shaking up the country. I don't know what that means, but sure. They say a new Harvard Caps-Harris poll released this week found that Gen Z voters believe Trump will have a positive impact by shaking up politics if he's victorious over Biden. The survey posed the question, do you think Donald Trump is someone who will shake up the country for the better, or do you think he is a danger to democracy and will hopelessly divide the country if elected? Among respondents between the ages of 18 and 24, 65% said they believe he would shake up the country for the better, while only 35% viewed him as a danger to democracy, according to the poll, which surveyed 2,022 registered voters from February 21st to 22nd. That's crazy. That's not 65%. Wow. Every age group except for 65 or older agreed that Trump would shake up the country for good. But Gen Z had the largest majority of voters who said so. Based. I'm saying, you know what it is? It's because we keep saying it. For all these Gen Z kids who are wondering why they can't buy houses, why they're struggling to find a family or fund a family, get a car, go on vacation, buy clothes, or even just buy food. I see all these videos all the time on TikTok where they're like, why can't I afford anything? They're giving all your money to non-citizens who are illegally entering the country.
Or to Ukraine.
And to foreign countries.
Yeah, and to Ukraine. That's great.
They've sold you a false bill of goods too, right? You were told, go to college, take out the student loans, you'll get a job, you'll be able to pay off those loans really quick. These people aren't getting jobs that are, livable wages because inflation is so out of control. They're saddled with this student loan debt. Like you said, they can't get houses. It's absolutely out of control and they feel trapped. They're living like serfs, essentially. They're living on credit. They don't own anything. They have to rent every single thing that they own. They're paying in installments on almost everything. It's a disaster.
Yeah, that feels tragic. So either you vote differently than your parents voted, meaning you vote for a conservative president when your Democrat parents vote for Joe Biden, or you just fall into a depression and give up. Like, there are very few options for the future.
This is another story as well. It just popped up literally in the other article. Democrats are changing their mind about Trump. The same Harvard or a similar Harvard Harris Caps poll released this week found that Democrats' general approval of the former president has risen since he left office in January 2021. But it's like this. It's like you take a girl who's like a 5 out of 10, and you put her next to a girl who's like a 2, and she looks like a 7. You know what I mean? So that's what you got. You take Donald Trump, Democrats are like, we really don't like this guy. Then you put in a Joe Biden, and they're like, he was the greatest president of my life. Mm-hmm. Could not be better.
Democrats are like, I really miss that guy.
It's going to be weird. I mean, how is Trump's polling improving among Gen Z and Democrats while Rachel Maddow and Chris Hayes are shrieking into the wind and bashing their skulls on the wall?
Yeah, Gen Z's not watching Rachel Maddow, I guess.
71 years old.
Yeah, exactly.
This is crazy. In 10 years, MSNBC is going to have no viewers left.
It's insane.
Like average life So MSNBC's average life expectancy is on par with its average viewer age. So it's like 71. Okay, well, the average age for a male in this country is 79. What's it for women? Like 81?
I think something like that, yeah.
81?
But Trump's going to need this kind of overwhelming support from independents, from maybe some Dems that flip over, from Gen Z. We need these surprises because we know that they're going to try to rig it like they did 2020. So we need to make sure that we have, an overwhelming wave of votes that are going to counter that, I think. Because these election laws that were, in the dead of night during COVID changed all these states like Pennsylvania, different constitutional changes they've made. Those are still on the books. So I think that, we really have to make sure that we overwhelm at the polls.
Why aren't Republicans,
because
stopping that now?
The RNC is a joke. I mean, they should have lawyers now in every single state fighting these election laws. The left has Mark Elias. He has 31 something cases on election issues and ballot access. We don't have our Mark Elias. So we definitely need more lawyers. We need an RNC chair that's going to take that stuff seriously.
Yeah. Well, here's hoping.
Average life expectancy for men, according to the CDC, is 73.5 years, and for women, 79.3.
That can't be right. We just looked this up like last week.
Oh, this is what the CDC says. Mortality in the United States, 2021, figure 1.
Wow. So Biden's way past.
But Biden is robust. Didn't we learn that the other day?
Yeah, and he didn't need a cognitive test.
No, everything is fine. Stop asking.
Wow. Male 73. That life expectancy right now for both as of 2021 is 76.4. Yikes. Biden. Woo. He's supposed to make it another 4 years.
Joey B.
Jeez.
I used to work at a restaurant called Joey B's.
I mean, that puts Donald Trump 3.5 years past life expectancy as well.
And there's such a big difference between them.
There is.
I don't know. Rough times for Biden.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
Speaking
Trump's
of standing
spry,
next to someone who makes you look worse.
I'm really optimistic, though. I want to show this Gen Z thing again. I mean, 65% of 18 to 24-year-olds think Trump will make the country better. Yo, the future is based.
That actually doesn't surprise me. It's only 2,000 people they polled, but it still seems about right. I mean, I think it's because of how bad stuff's got. I don't like the reactionary state of mind, but you just can't put like a husky in the pilot seat. A husk of a man. I don't know what you want to call Joe.
I thought you were talking about like
or a dog or someone.
Yeah, like Air Bud or something.
No, I can't do that. You see what you get when you do that. It's like the rudderless. The ship's flying all over the place right now. So somebody is better, and I think a lot of people are just like, yo, get that guy. That guy wasn't this.
I think too, I am Gen Z, but young people especially, I think you look at how Joe Biden has totally created chaos across the world. We're fighting, multiple wars on multiple fronts. There's chaos in the Middle East again. Ukraine, obviously terrible situation. If I'm a young person, I don't want to fight those wars. That's not in my interest. That's not in the American people's interest. I don't want to go die in some desert in the Middle East to defend, their democracy when we have real issues here at home that need attending to.
Mm-hmm. I wonder how differently it would be, like military enlistment, if we were sending troops to the border. If there would be people who were like,
I think people would sign up.
I'd sign up for that. Whereas it's like, you have to go to Ukraine or Iraq. And they're like, no, thank you. I'll stay here. I will not enlist. I think that's the thing, though. Like, people will act if they feel as though the cause is justified. And right now, I don't know anyone who would want to serve at the pleasure of Joe Biden, who can barely navigate a stage and who also seems to be more concerned with the world than with the people at home.
The establishment narrative is crumbling with the age of the average viewer, though. I wonder if when like Pelosi, McConnell, and the rest of them are out, if the Democrats just say what they've always said, and I just tell me what's popular and I'll do it. And so the narrative shift will go towards people who are active. Everyone else will just say whatever you say, whatever makes money.
I wish we could get a survey of what like the top political podcasts, both right and left, like what their average age of a listener is, because I think it would just be so different. It'd be interesting to contrast the new media from the old, so definitively how split the audience is.
It'd be funny if like Hassan's audience, they're all like 60 years old.
He's cornered the market on like older internet users.
I mean, our audience on average, I think is like the average age is 34, but it's basically like, what is it, 25 to 34. Is it 34? Yeah. I think that's the second biggest. Mm-hmm. The first biggest is 35 to 54. Is that what it is? I don't know how they break it down. But they're basically very, very equal if you go between 25 and 54. And then that's like the key demo, right? 25 to 54. And then 18 to 24 is pretty low. And then the older one is a little higher than 18 to 24. But on average, the average age in the middle is 34-ish. But it's going up. It's really funny. Like a couple of years ago, it was 32. Mm-hmm. So like the average age is aging with us.
Yeah,
that's what it is. I wonder where the rest of we got to start advertising to 18-year-olds. Come watch the news. Watch Timcast IRL.
That's interesting.
That's how you do it.
But I think they're more likely to watch this as a news program than they are to turn on CNN, right? I mean, I don't know about you guys, but like I never had cable anywhere I lived after I moved out of my dad's house because there was no reason for me to pay for cable. I didn't use it.
Yeah, I never used it.
Right. So
someone in chat claims to be 15 years old.
Nice job.
Wow,
welcome. Bring your friends to the show.
The way you do it is you got to be like, you guys are so dumb. You don't watch Timcast IRL. It's like the coolest show ever. Because that's what it's all about, is like people feeling FOMO.
Yes, make them feel left out.
Yep.
Bully
FOMO.
your friends into watching IRL.
Someone says they are 1 year old.
Oh, that was that Rogan Sims.
One.
Good. Get them started young. That's the other thing is like with the birth rate declining, this will always be the case unless we see, another baby boom, essentially.
This is why I was saying that culturally, what we see is that there's this the Simpsons meme of, I used to be with it, but then they changed what it was, and now what it is scary to me, and it'll happen to you too, but it won't happen anymore because there's no young people. So the money demo is going to stay where it is. Like,
yeah.
Then there's not going to be anything to market to. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Gen Z will have businesses and they'll have bands, but you'll make less money. If there's 1 million fans of a Gen Z artist, but 10 million fans of a millennial artist, then you always want to be working with the millennial artist. You make more money. It used to be that because the next generation was larger, once they came into money, parents were spending money on their kids. And then when they came into money, there was more money to be made from
cater
them.
to them, yeah.
Now it's changing. It's going to go down. Unless conservatives have 4 babies each to compensate for the liberals who have no babies.
They can do this. I think this is totally within their means. They just have to decide and move forward.
Yeah.
That's true. You just commit and go for it.
But I think that's true of so many things. Like we were talking about marriage earlier. Like you have to live a life where that's something you want. These things don't just happen to you. If you are concerned about the birth rate, you should actively want to have children. Hopefully you like them, but you could do something about it. If you're concerned about the values of your community, get involved with it. I think so much of it is people deciding that everything is lost and sort of just like sitting back and saying, well, I can't make a difference, and why does it matter? And that sort of defeatist mentality is what I really want to get away from.
Yeah, and I think that for a long time, that's kind of been endemic on the conservative side. We've seen leftists kind of be professional activists, right? They're fantastic at it. They're always picketing. They're always protesting. They're always volunteering. And I think that conservatives, until recently, hadn't really been as engaged. They have kind of been hands off. They've had their day job and they've left it to, the political professionals, so to speak. And now that people are realizing those political professionals have sold us out, they're not, advancing my interests. They're ripping me off. They've kind of started to get off the couch and get engaged. They're running for school board, county commissioner, things like that. So yeah, people just have to get in the fight.
Mm-hmm. Makes a big difference. Do you ever want to be on a school board, Ian?
Not only if my kid was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does make a big difference. Having kids makes you look at your community differently.
Oh man, the amount of feeling. I don't have kids now, but I have been through a couple of pregnancies that unfortunately did not pan out. But that feeling of like wanting to defend my territory got really intensely primal really quick when the reality started to come in. Like, oh my God, life is depending on me now.
Mm-hmm.
Big every step. Like I can fuck off right now. I can live my life and fuck around. And it's like, I think it's great and wonderful and meaningless.
Until you're 70.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you're going to be like, hello?
Get me one of those pods.
Hello?
Plug me away, son.
Yeah. That's the scary thing, because like all these liberal women who don't have kids and aren't getting married, the good news for them is that Neuralink will be around. And so when they get plugged into the pod, the feeding tube gets wired right into their throats with the roach paste to go into their bellies. All they got to do is hook their brain into the Neuralink, and then they'll have a fake family.
God.
I hate our dystopian future. I don't like this at all.
Well, it's like...
I mean, it's good for them. I'm glad that they
it's good for us, because otherwise they're going to be voting demanding that we take care of them. They're going to, like, these millennial women when they're 70, it's going to be a nightmare.
Do you think it's going to be, instead of saving for a retirement fund, they're going to have like a Neuralink check out of life fund?
That's like that. There's a bunch of shows like that's like it was like a Black Mirror episode. Yes. So millennial women today who are like 35 to 40 who aren't getting married and have cats and are now where it's like, well, I'm too old to have kids. They're not going to have kids. They can't have kids. Guys are going to be like, I can have a kid whenever I want. You could be 70. You could be a guy at 70 and have kids. And so they're going to go for younger women. These millennial women are going to be like, well, that ship has sailed. They're going to buy a bunch of cats. And then when they're 70, they're going to be like, I need someone to take care of me, so the government should do it. And then they're going to demand everyone else pay for them. Well, I say we put them in it should be, you get put in the Neuralink. We Neuralink you, and then you can have all the cats you want.
When I was saying put me in the pod, I meant the suicide pod that they're doing in Canada. Like,
jeez,
my time has come.
They do
I'm
have
done.
that.
Like, I don't want society to have to pay for my burdened body anymore.
Well, these millennials are absolutely going to say they should pay for my burdened body.
God, fuck that.
That is weird that like suicide tourism is going to go on the rise, because they have it in Switzerland too, and people will go and
they have those pods in Canada. Ian's not kidding.
No, in Canada and Switzerland.
It's MAID, M-A-I-D. Was it something
medical?
assisted?
Now wasn't the latest story that there was like a homeless woman and they're like, have you considered MAID?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have no home? How about the pod? Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.